Well, we've been here before. If you look at the page on Las Vegas Area Trails in the Lovell Canyon section, the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline mid-ridge access from Lovell Canyon. Here is, if you haven't recognized it yet, is Mount Wilson. There is Indecision Peak. There's the Super Summer Theater. In the background there is part of Blue Diamond Hill. And then behind Blue Diamond Hill is the Las Vegas Valley. There's an approach saddle to Mount Wilson that one of these days we'll take. And there is First Creek Canyon. Yeah, that's quite a chute. There's a little marker up here to let you know you've reached the summit of something. And then over in this direction. Well, let's save that for just a moment. The way we got here was from Lovell Canyon. There's what I call my landmark bluff. And we came right up that canyon, straight from the base of the landmark bluff. We took Saltgrass Road and then took the ridges to land basically where we are. So if you're traveling south on the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline, you're going that direction. And by the way, there's Potosi Mountain at the very far southern tip of the Spring Mountains. And between where we are and Potosi Mountain is Highway 160 between Las Vegas and Pahrump. And now my curiosity's up a little bit. Behind the landmark bluff, there's another little mountain range. And I am not sure what it is. It's right. I guess you could use the yucca stalk as a marker. But you see a little more dim in the distance. Yeah, I don't know if that's the Nopa range. I'm just not sure, but I will find out and then put a note on this video. Okay, so yeah, we came up the ridge system below and landed here. Now, our goal, what we're going to do is definitely no promises. We're going to see how far north we can go on the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline. Now, this is the north direction, and wow, it certainly does not look really easy. Broken up quite a bit. Let's see if I can climb over a few rocks to give a better view. Yeah, you can see where it's pretty well broken up. Lots of boulders, ledges ahead. I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad. But there in the center is First Creek Overlook Cliff. And then again, that saddle to Mount Wilson. And then we're looking straight down into Red Rock Canyon. What you're looking at is the Calico Hills. And what I'm going to do is show you, I'm going to zoom in the colorful hills down there beyond the valley, or the Calico Hills. A little bit to the left is Turtle Head Peak. And behind Turtle Head Peak is Damsel Peak. And then to the right of Damsel Peak is Summerlin Ridge. So let's just take a look and see what we can see here. Calico Hills. Turtle Head Peak right in the center. And by the way, that colorful red rock slope to the left of Turtle Head Peak is part of Rainbow Mountain. Okay, and then Damsel Peak. And Summerlin Ridge. And yes, there's a lot more, but I'm going to, well, let's see. Let's do one more thing. I see Gas Peak and the Sheep Range. Gas Peak, that pointy peak to the left. Distance very dim, just as Gas Peak was dim, is the Sheep Range. And then, yeah, I guess I can show you one more thing. The Muddy Mountains, just to the left of Mount Wilson's sandstone cliff or slope. Those are the Muddy Mountains. Okay, so a lot of things, a lot of landmarks. That's how I navigate in the wilderness, is by the landmarks. I don't use GPS. And yeah, I only go on clear days. But there you have a good look at where we are. And let's take a look at that Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline ahead. So I gotta watch where I'm standing. Okay, so we've got First Creek Overlook Cliff, and then to the left, you're looking at the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline. We're gonna head north along the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline. That would be to the left. See if we can get above Juniper Peak, which is the furthest I've made from the north end of the Upper Crest Ridgeline. This will close what may be a final gap here. Then we'll have done the entire Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline. As you can see, amazing, beautiful, spectacular. Okay, so there you have it. Let's go ahead and see what we can do on this ridge line. I want to keep it class 2, meaning there will be no rock climbing. We'll see if that's possible. It looks like it. I don't know, but let's just see. Okay, here we go. Well, that's where I was. There was not much to that. Guess I was whining for nothing. Let's look around up here. Yeah, more of Mount Wilson. Now you can see more of Indecision Peak. It's that whole ridge there. Then Potosi Mountain. Then back toward Lovell Canyon. And then over to First Creek Overlook, which is ahead. That's the Overlook Cliff. Let's go up there and see what things look like from up there. A little better view as we are approaching First Creek Overlook Cliff. Mount Wilson. First Creek Overlook Cliff doesn't look too horrible. And then the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline. And you can see part of Mummy Mountain. Let's zoom in there. There you have it. Okay, let's head over to First Creek Overlook Cliff. And by the way, for my return route, if everything works out decently, I haven't been in any of this area before, so I can't vouch for the terrain, but what I'd like to do, see that rounded ridge right in the center? I'd like to head down the other side of that ridge and then back down Saltgrass Road. That may be a lot to ask, but my goal would be get back down into Lovell Canyon on the right side of the landmark bluff. And believe it or not, there is a little trail up here. So somebody has done this Upper Crest Ridgeline before, and there are cairns marking the trail now and then. So we'll see if this little trail gets us right along the Upper Crest Ridgeline. Okay, toward First Creek Overlook Cliff. And here's a pretty cool view of Mount Wilson right through an opening in the rock. Let's back up so we can see this opening. There you have it. And there are a lot of just beautiful spires and caves and openings up here in the Upper Crest Ridgeline. Okay, First Creek Overlook Cliff. And let's see. Yeah, I don't like to be on the edge of these things. I've got a fear of heights, so yeah, why am I up here? Probably brain damage. But anyway, yes, there's Mount Wilson, First Creek Canyon, Indecision Peak, and in the background would be Hidden Peak, Monument Peak, and then Potosi Mountain, Mountain Springs at the base. There's the direction I came from. There's the direction I'm going, along the Upper Crest Ridgeline, heading north. And by the way, yeah, you can see Griffith Peak now. Great shot of Rainbow Mountain. In the background, the La Madre Mountains. Then I've described the others already. There's more of the Las Vegas Valley. Yeah, looking down in the Summerlin area. In fact, I can even see Lone Mountain. I won't zoom in on it right now. Okay. Onward. Here we go. And by the way, yeah, Bridge Mountain. And then beyond is the Buffalo Wall area. You take the North Peak trailhead, you can end up in all that beautiful red rock. And then you notice where the color dramatically changes. That's the Keystone Thrust fault line. where that dramatic change occurs. World famous fault line. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, so I'm on a trail of sorts. You got to look carefully, or it could easily disappear on you. Just look for just a little disturbance in the gravel here, and that would let you know that you're on the trail. Okay, and I just lost it. Okay, anyway, yeah, maybe it's down here. We'll see. But we're continuing on the Upper Crest Ridgeline. Well, sort of back on the trail. Can never be sure here. But the key seems to be stay high and skirt the upper edge of the cliff on the right. Of course, I could be proven wrong at any point, but yeah, this seems to be working right now. Okay, continuing along. Here's the next high point ahead, and you can see Rainbow Mountain over here. We want to get beyond Rainbow Mountain if we can, given the time that we've got left, because darkness is going to be hitting earlier. It's the second weekend in September. So anything after about 6:30 could be in the dark. We don't want to be in the dark in this unfamiliar, very rocky, craggy area. So we'll be looking for an escape ridge back down to the canyon that we came up, but not yet. Give me maybe one more hour up here. Quick look back and ahead. But first back. There's Mount Wilson, Las Vegas Valley, the other side of the cliffs here. Right in the center is the canyon that we came up, and yeah, just hugging the edge of the cliff here. See if that'll take us to the next high point. And that's looking ahead. And you can see some of those rounded ridges straight ahead. That would be the exit plan, but getting there is not real evident from this point. Another high point. Looking back over the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline, heading south. Mount Wilson from this perspective. There's Rainbow Mountain, Bridge Mountain, Buffalo Wall, and then looking ahead, we're going from high point to high point, and so far it's actually pretty decent. From a distance, it looks a lot more difficult than it is when you get up here. and looking towards some of those rounded ridges that we'd like to be on. When we're descending, there's the canyon we ascended, or passed through that canyon, then took some ridges. Potosi Mountain and Mountain Springs. So there you have it. Here's our next stretch, another high point. I think when we get up there, we're going to be able to look down on the southernmost area that we have reached. We'll be looking down above Juniper Peak. That is the hope. But in the meantime, here we are, another high point. Looking back over at Mount Wilson. And then over in this direction, a lot of loose rock right on the edge of nothingness here. Example, yes. Okay, looking at Rainbow Mountain. Okay, let's go up to this next high point, see what we can see. Okay, let's check in and take a look around. There's the direction we just came from. And you can see the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline stretching south. You can see all the way to Windy Peak. There's Mount Wilson. There's Rainbow Mountain. Little marker means we must be somewhere. Where we are, I do not know. All I know is we're on the Upper Crest Ridgeline. Down in that direction is looking over the Juniper Peak area of the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline. And Juniper Peak would be down in this direction. You can see Rainbow Wall. Or Buffalo Wall. Bridge Mountain. Now we've come a long way to see all this. There's Rainbow Mountain. And then look through the trees here for a great shot of the Las Vegas Strip. There you have it. Now, let's continue on this ridge, and let's be looking for a descent ridge, because we are at the turnaround point, or at least at the point where we need to start descending back to Lovell Canyon. To get there, before dark. Definitely don't want to be up here in the dark. Too many edges to fall off. And by the way, you can see the Wilson Ridge all the way to the southern high point. And then over to Harris Mountain. Actually, Mummy Mountain is in the background, but Harris Mountain is right in front of it. And then you've got the saddle to Griffith Peak. And then Sexton Ridge descending down to the left from Griffith Peak. Wilson Ridge from the southern high point to Harris Mountain. And those are the two main ridges on either side of Lovell Canyon. And by the way, looking down to Rainbow Mountain on the right, to the left of that point is the Juniper Peak area. And by the way, we've now completed this whole section of, well, we've completed the entire Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline except for the very north section to Buffalo Wall. We were on this ridgeline below not long ago. Right down in that saddle, just below us. So now what we're going to do is we're going to head down. Sorry about the mountain mahogany, by the way. Gamble's Oak and Juniper. I'm still not a botanist, but I know just a few. Okay, so we're going to go to that high point and then be looking for a way down to Lovell Canyon. Let's just see what happens. And here's something else. We were on that rocky crag on the Wilson Ridge above Rocky Gap Road and just below Red Rock Summit. There's the rocky crag. There's Red Rock Summit. And immediately below is Rocky Gap Road. Well, here's a good shot of the entire southern stretch of the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline, all the way to Potosi Mountain on the right. There's Mount Wilson. So Upper Crest Ridgeline from Mount Wilson to Potosi Mountain. There's Mountain Spring. Not sure if you could see it because there's too much glare on the screen. There is the nice smooth ridge that we want to get to. Question is how to do it from here. That's our next challenge. And then you can see the landmark bluff, which is our end point. That bluff behind the ridge. Okay, watching for a way down, I've skirted this ridge up above. You see a few rocky outcrops. I was able to weave around them. Here I am in this area, and looks like there might be a chance, not certain, that I could head right down this gully. Once I get down to the bottom, it's just a matter of skirting the left side of that ridge around to Saltgrass Road. So we'll check that out. Here we go. Well, I've almost completed descending through the brush-choked wash from hell. This is where it looks like it might be starting to level out, and then I go down the wide wash down there. But this doesn't even do it justice. It was so thick. The brush was so thick and the way was so thin. And in the midst of the brush, there were rocks to climb. Well, the brush was pushing me over the edge of the rocks. It was quite an experience. But yeah, it feels good to be looking at the bottom. And so we just need to circle around the left side of this gradual ridge and then down Saltgrass Road. So down we go. Wow, I finally hit bottom. I'm in the wash now. Don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's at least I don't have a vertical rocky area to go over. I came down right between those two rocky bluffs, and wow, that was thick. Narrow wash, thick brush. Lots of things to navigate, but here we are. Hopefully this will be easier now. We'll navigate along the wash here or find a place above the wash. We don't know. Let's just go. Guess what? I am on a trail, an actual trail. I may lose it, but I have been pretty much wildernessed out. So now it's just a matter, well, look at, I've already lost the trail. It's just a matter of weaving through the canyon back to Saltgrass Road and then ultimately to the Lovell Canyon Road and the car. Well, this is pretty great. And here's the trail again. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna lose it for any length of time now because it's so definite. And I know I just need to get through the canyon to Saltgrass Road and then we'll run it in. Well, that return trip down the side of the mountain was pretty brutal, but we are back on Saltgrass Road and now I'm going to run it in It's an epic adventure. Finished the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline. So, except for that very northern portion up to Buffalo Wall, from White Rock Mountain to Buffalo Wall. But you can now look at the various articles and videos on the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline. I've got them in order, and you can see how to navigate the entire ridgeline, along with a number of various access points. So if you're just with one car like I am, and you can't do it all in one day, then you want to break it down into various stretches, and that's what I do with the videos on LasVegasAreaTrails.com. So here we are, and we're heading back to the Beast, which is parked on Lovell Canyon Road. This is a pretty beautiful canyon, Lovell Canyon. Been enough rain that everything is green now. There's Saltgrass Road, and I've been hitting the connector between Saltgrass and Lovell Canyon Road wrong. So I'll show you the exact connector location. But anyway, yeah, look at this canyon. The evening, the lighting is just right. And we passed through that gap right there. Headed up to the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline, which you can see in the background through the gap. We summited that ridgeline just above Mount Wilson, took a left, headed north to a little past Rainbow Mountain, and over to just above Juniper Peak, and then headed down a ridge and the gully from hell. Finally hit the bottom and returned to Saltgrass Road by way of a wash and a trail finally. And here we are on Lower Saltgrass Road, just above Lovell Canyon Road. And there you can see Potosi Mountain, southern tip of the Spring Mountains. But just incredibly beautiful canyon. There's my landmark bluff, and at some point I want to climb that bluff and just traverse the top of the bluff. Looks like it's got a pretty vertical head wall right before the summit, so we'll have to find an access point. But yeah, here we are. We've finished the Rainbow Mountains Upper Crest Ridgeline all the way from Highway 160 to White Rock Mountain, except for a brief stretch from White Rock Mountain up the very northern tip of the Rainbow Mountains, Upper Crest Ridgeline to Buffalo Wall. And we'll do that soon. Okay, here we are at the true intersection of Saltgrass Road and Lovell Canyon Road. Here's Lovell Canyon Road, Saltgrass Road. And the road number here is 45540. So, yeah, had I parked in this area, I probably could have saved myself about a mile, but not a problem. We'll just head back to the car.